Extreme cold temperatures are here and they're going to stick around for a few more days. If you haven't already, it's very important for you to protect your home by allowing your faucets to drip. May sound simple, but tonight Jeff Smith is at Imagination Station to show us the science behind what could happen if you don't.
So I'll tell you what, over the last couple of days we've been talking about it's going to be so cold over the weekend. And we wanted to know, well, just how cold is it? It's so cold that you could blank. And we thought, no better place to come than Imagination Station and talk with Chief Scientist Carl Nelson. Carl, we've got a couple of examples of things that are talked about each and every time we go through one of these cold spells. And you said there's some real science behind all of it.
Absolutely. I thought, one of the things you always talk about is water pipes breaking. That's a big concern when the temperatures drop. So,
not a myth.
No. And we're going to show it right here. So
okay.
What we're going to do, we're trying to do this live right here. Hopefully it breaks in our segment. I have filled this cast iron elbow all the way with water. So there's no air bubbles in there. It's just completely water. Inside this white container, I have liquid nitrogen. It's 320 degrees below zero. So what I'm going to do is hopefully replicate what could happen in extreme weather by dropping this in, and we're going to let it cool down behind this polycarbonate shield. And it's really, really hot right now, so it's going to bubble.
I was going to say, is this taking it to the extreme, or this is very possible in the conditions we're seeing, the -20 wind chill, that kind of thing?
So the physics is the same,
yeah,
right? We're just cooling it down quickly as opposed to waiting half an hour or an hour or 2 hours at night. But last night I did take these copper pipes, which I, soldered on a cap and a valve. I filled them completely with water, sealed this up, and left them out in my yard overnight. And this is exactly the kind of thing you're worried about, right? And what happens is the water inside begins to freeze, it begins to expand, and you can see it ruptures the copper pipe.
That's just from last night?
Just from last night, yeah. I mean, just sitting out in the back of my yard. I did 3 because I was worried that, it wouldn't work.
One might not take.
But they did. They all burst. And this is the concern you have in your house, right? What happens is, if this part was exposed where my hand is, ice begins to build up. It begins on the outside and begins to close in and forms a plug. And then that ice begins to move laterally. Mm-hmm. And at some point, it builds up so much pressure on the inside of the house, the pipe will burst. It often doesn't burst right where the ice forms. It's the buildup of pressure, which is why you always hear, and this time of year, let the water drip a little. Mm-hmm. It does 2 things. It lets that water go past that plug without freezing, and it also allows like a safety valve, a pressure relief, so that any of that pressure that builds up can leak out. And it really, just a drip is all you need.
I was going to say, keeping the cabinets open to get a little bit of airflow through there, not an old wives' tale by any stretch.
No, not at all. In fact, I had a plumber at my house just the other day, and he recommended that we do that same thing in our basement near our water meter.
And you don't have to have it, I don't want people to misunderstand, you don't have to have pipes physically outside, just up against an adjacent wall or in the crawl space.
Crawl space, adjacent wall.
Yeah.
As long as it can get down cold enough to freeze, this can happen. So, like I say, let it drip. And, interestingly enough, the break usually happens on the inside of the house side, not the outside, because the outside is a giant reservoir of water from the city or whatever.
Yeah.
And so the pressure can dissipate on that side, but inside the house, it's very, very difficult for that pressure to dissipate.
Talk again a little bit about what is in. This is another example of what you put into the very cold
liquid nitrogen.
But talk about what is inside.
Yeah, so what I did, I took this cast iron elbow, put it in a 5-gallon bucket, filled it up completely, including the caps, so there's no air inside. Air is compressible. If I left an air gap in here and we tried to cool it down and form ice, the air could just be compressed and nothing will happen.
Yeah, but right now there's...
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So, that's why we're behind the shield. You okay?
I'm fine.
Okay, excellent.
I think it made my phone go off.
So there you go. Now, this was a minor sort of rupture. This was catastrophic.
Yeah.
I mean, that whole thing, I don't even know. Oh yeah, we can fish it out here.
Does it exist anymore?
It does. I gotta say, this is the best it's ever worked. So this is awesome. Yeah, we've got. So that's the power of that expanding ice. Water expands about 9% when it transitions from liquid to a solid.
Yeah.
And that pressure is enough, to rupture that.
Just so people know, we did not know that was going to work so well.
No, 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 no. My prior attempts, my practice runs.
Just a little
it's
crack?
Just a little crack. But and that, it's just so unpredictable. You don't know where it's going to fail. Just like you don't know where in your house your copper or your PEX pipe might break, plastic or whatever. It's just really unpredictable.
Yeah. Paul, our photojournalist, you got all that? Are you all right? All right, he's giving me the nod. Thumbs up at this point.
All right. So let the water drip. Open up those cabinets. Let the warm air get in there. And just be prepared.
Yeah, when they hear it again and again each and every year, they think, I got this. Well, if you're not making these changes at home, these are the
This could
results
happen.
that can exist.
Absolutely.